Well, they were saying that it might go until Monday. I was actually kind of surprised that it didn't, considering the show that they put on for the public. They put on such a lovely show.
That was a show.
Wouldn't you say?
That was a show.
There was
I
a
don't.
video montage.
Oh my God.
You would have thought it was like a retirement ceremony. Or, someone winning an award for, lifetime achievement or something. The way they sat there and the way they carried on and the way, especially when it gets to the point where lawyers are forcing themselves to tears or almost to tears, talking about how inspiring that deviant is.
Oh, man.
Kind of interesting.
Diddy has been sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in prison with a $500,000 fine. Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal say he deserves every bit of it. Jaguar calls him a monster and says she has zero sympathy for him.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit up there and judge anybody and what they want to do for their parent or their financial provider. Because I'm sorry, do any of those children have a means for earning a living outside of the Combs enterprise? I don't think so.
I mean, King Combs.
Doing what?
I don't know.
What's he do? Other than post on his dad's timeline and make music videos that I don't know that anybody actually watches. What do they do? What do any of them do?
Most of Diddy's serious charges were dropped, and he got the shortest sentence possible. The same judge who denied him bail 6 times suddenly went soft on him. Jaguar and Gene believe Diddy's kids defended him only because they rely on his money.
Why do you think Diddy's kids spoke out publicly?
What choice do they have?
Even I think one of the sons did a rap, and he's like,
what choice do they have? When you're dealing with the kind of narcissistic control freak that Diddy is, and you raise children under that, the financial abuse for all of them is probably the worst. Because there's no way they can make money without him. He has them locked in. And if he falls, who's going to hire them? Who's going to fund them? Who's going to look out for them? No one. Right. No one. They're not fighting for their father. They're fighting for their survival. What they all going to do? Go work at the Good Burger or the Wahlburger? What they gonna do?
Diddy's children are allegedly under his full control. He's forcing them to speak on his behalf, so his image doesn't collapse without Diddy. They'd lose their income, and they have legal issues of their own.
$5 million at his disposal. Isn't that by nature the exact thing that they're worried about? If you have this much money, that you could make this thing, you could probably make people disappear if you really opted to.
See, this is the thing. That'll just make more trouble. Why would he make more trouble now? He done already bought off and paid off everybody he possibly could. Have you looked at the indictment? Like, he called some witnesses up to 54 times.
Yeah, 200 and how many Angel? 200 something people. Yeah. He tried to reach out to.
Like, what are you running, a telethon or a telemarketing agency? Telemarketers don't make that many calls in one day. Or sometimes not even in a week, all depending on you was on that. You down for Diddy? Like, how does that conversation start? Hey, what's up? I really feel bad about that last time I bashed you in the face with a Ciroc bottle. Look, we good?
While behind bars, Diddy reportedly made over 200 phone calls every week. Feds say he used his family to secretly contact witnesses. One witness exposed the setup after being pressured to stay quiet.
It's time for all of the victims to come forward. But for the people that have been denying it, you know what? Let's not be coy. You know, I am Jaguar. So let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep it a beam. Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged. Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged. Should I keep going?
I mean, you're hitting it on.
Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Ross should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him. Or for Justin Bieber alone.
Now, Carisha and Rick Ross just sat down together in an interview.
Yeah, I know. Two Diddy doo-wop bops. What a reunion.
Jaguar Wright says it's not just Diddy's kids. Everyone around him works under fear. She claims Diddy created a team of enablers to protect himself. Now she's exposing all of them one by one.
Jag, hold on. Diddy spoke to the judge before sentencing, and it sounded like he was taking accountability.
Yeah, accountability for what? Same kind of accountability he took after he told everybody Cassie was lying on him, and then he got popped on my birthday when the video came out on CNN. And then he had to come back and do the whack-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah, I guess accountability for what he got caught for.
How does now nobody not see that the apology he gave for Cassie after he called her a liar for months and said that it wasn't true, she was making it all up? How does nobody not see that they're the same apology? How does nobody not see that what he just did in that courtroom was no different than the monologue that was in Blink Twice?
No, man.
It's the same monologue.
Does it account for anything, though, that he started to feel sorry for his actions?
Sorry for his actions?
He's been sitting in NBC for you.
Actually sorry. Do you think he would have allowed his legal team to destroy those women like that on that stand? See, you sat there and you let your legal team rip those people to shreds while they were barely being protected by the feds.
Gene and Jaguar both agree Diddy has no real remorse. He cried in court and claimed he's a changed man. Teaching inmates business lessons in a letter, he begged for mercy, saying he's sober for the first time in 25 years.
What they call relevant conduct that you do in that stuff. And Diddy did a lot of shit. He beat people. He drugged people. The judge even said this. You understand? The judge spoke about coercion. And no matter what what you call them people, the jurors, said and thought and everything like that, the judge spoke about his coercion, his relevant conduct. The judge spoke about, mitigating circumstances, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the judge spoke about. Look at here. He got caught with drugs. Never got charged with the drugs. And the judge knew that. That's why the judge said relevant conduct. You understand? He got caught with guns. Guns in the house with the serial number. The judge knew that. You understand? Relevant conduct. You understand? That he didn't get charged with. The beating of Jane, hitting in the head, the assault, and all that stuff of Cassie. All those things, they probably couldn't. I don't guess they could have charged him with them, but it came up in the trial. All that's relevant conduct. You understand? And people don't understand all the things that he was doing. Then the judge made a point. When you go and talk to the managers, them, and you talk to people about hiding evidence, You understand? Remember the fact in the trial when it came up that he gave a guy $100 and some thousand dollars or $100,000 to keep the tape that from cashing them? That's relevant conduct. Your judge was speaking about all that.
Gene says Diddy got away with most of his crimes and will be free soon. He's getting credit for time served and might join a program to cut his sentence short, according to Gene. Diddy will never change. He's already planning his next move.
Don't get me wrong, bro. I don't want to see a black man in jail. I don't want to see a black man in jail. But I don't care nothing about Diddy going to jail. That's a big difference to me. I never want to see a black man going to jail based on the circumstance, based on the situation, based on he may not have the legal team, because a lot of us get railroaded. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of us get railroaded. So I don't never want to see no black, yo, that's what these cats are gonna be saying. Yo, they want to see a nigga. Nah, bro. I fought to keep guys out of jail for 27 years. But do I care about him going to jail? Nah, I don't, bro. I'm sorry. God just gonna have to take that off my heart. But that's my enemy. He made it clear.
Gene revealed that his own life has been in danger for exposing Diddy. He says Diddy even sent people after him to silence him. Why would he ever feel sorry for a man who tried to have him killed?
Out of New York City, we are hearing Diddy's attorneys speaking to the media after he was sentenced earlier today. This is live.
Yeah, we are planning to appeal.
I want to hear them, bro.
We are planning to appeal. We think we have strong bases to appeal. The strongest basis is that the jury reached a verdict on coercion. It found there was not coercion, and I think the judge said coercion today as a basis for a sentence at least a dozen times. We think that is unconstitutional. Yeah. We think that a jury verdict should mean more than our jury's verdict seems to mean, and so we are planning to appeal.
If
Absolutely.
the prosecution files a cross appeal, what would happen in that regard if they filed a cross appeal and then Sean Diddy Combs get a higher sentence?
He would not get a higher sentence, and they're not gonna cross appeal. We're gonna appeal. We think we're right, and they'll respond to the appeal, and it'll be decided by the Second Circuit as soon as.
Tell us about the conversation you had with your client after the sentencing.
Consensual. The judge clearly thought the sexual encounters weren't consensual.
Because he's biased.
Make of his remarks.
He's biased.
I'm happy to go. So we think that's just absolutely inconsistent with the jury's verdict. I mean, the jury's verdict was resoundingly clear. There was no trafficking, there was no racketeering, everything was consensual, everything was adult, which is why he was convicted only of the prostitution offense. What we feel happened today was that the judge acted as a 13th juror,
yes,
one that
did.
we did not choose, and that he second-guessed the jury's verdict.
Well, at least the judge was open-minded.
Even after a light sentence, Diddy's lawyers plan to appeal. He expected probation and no jail time at all to him. Even 4 years feels unfair, despite decades of wrongdoing.
That happened in the R. Kelly case, because if that had been properly addressed, this would have been addressed back then. These people have been working together, all in cahoots for all of this time, and it needs to all be addressed. I'm glad it's not just me anymore. I'm glad it's someone else. I'm glad there are other people who need to be heard. I'll be sure. I'm glad they're hearing him, Cassie. I'm glad they're hearing her, Kim Porter. Through, I'll be sure. I'm glad, Natanya Rubin. I'm glad. All of these things. So yeah, it's mixed emotions, but I just know when you pray for something and God answers it, you should be happy.
He has ties to Florida. We know he has ties to LA. Now we know that he has ties to Detroit. How many other metropolises in the United States has he been able to infect at the highest levels of government to be able to do his bidding? The Detroit judge saying, our good friend in New York gotta pay the bills Somehow, amen to that.
Insiders claim Diddy wasn't acting alone in his crimes. They believe a full investigation would expose many big names. What kind of RICO case has only one person? One insider asked.
And he goes to probably a halfway house. So he got off like a fat rat in a cheese factory. But for a dude like Diddy going to jail and spending all that time, you know, I'm not saying it's going to be rough or nothing like that, because his former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burrows, with the federal jail. You understand? Lil' Kim with the federal jail. So, you know, because the type of dude he is, you know, he'll make it, he'll be all right. And plus they gonna send him to a camp, bruh. He'll be in somebody's camp or somebody's dormitory, whereas that it'll be real light for him. So, you know, he'll see the streets back again in 24 months. He'll be out within 2 years. It seems like a lot saying 50 months and everything like that, but it's not really a lot, not at all, bro. It's not a lot at all. You know what I'm saying? I know for executive, somebody who's been a jet setter, somebody who's been going all around the world, been in all kind of, you know, stadiums, galas, and living in mansions. You know, it's a lot of people who lived in mansions that's in federal jail. You know, you got Senator Melendez from Jersey in jail.
Many of Diddy's old associates are also in prison. Showing how deep this goes, people online say his light sentence is proof of industry favoritism. Some believe he'll come out even more powerful than before.
Yeah, a lot of people look at it like this hasn't affected his pockets technically, as far as just on the status level.
It's affected his pockets. It's just left him. He's still got enough to play with.
A lot to play with. I mean,
yeah, for now. For now. They want him to go to New Jersey. They want him to go to Fort Dix, one of the weakest guarded federal penitentiaries in the United States. I know Fort Dix. It's a real nice place to take somebody. So when they finally get to go outside out in the yard, they can just get somebody to come and extract them right up out of there. You can leave and you don't have to worry about ever being held accountable. See, I'm not dumb. I ain't nobody's fool. People like being fooled these days. People like being lied to. They want to believe in the land of make-believe. Diddy said sorry, and now we can all go home and have ice cream.
Even in prison, Diddy's privilege shows he requested to serve time at Fort Dix, a prison offering a drug program that could shorten his stay. Completing it could earn him up to a full year off.
Diddy's conditions that he is going to have to follow when he gets out of prison have been released by the judge. This is not going to be an easy thing for Diddy to handle. He is someone that is used to traveling, used to doing whatever he wants basically, and now we know he is going to deal with 5 years of supervision when he finally does get out of prison. Obviously, Diddy cannot commit any other federal, state, or local crime, and he must not unlawfully possess a controlled substance. He also must refrain from any unlawful use of a controlled substance, and he must submit to a test within 15 days of release from imprisonment. Then at least 2 periodic tests thereafter as determined by the court. Diddy must cooperate in a collection of DNA as directed by the probation officer. The judge doesn't check here that he must participate in an approved program for violence because it's in another set of conditions that he actually already has to do this. Diddy also has a list of standard conditions that he is going to have to meet when he gets out of prison. You must report to the probation office in the federal jurisdiction district where you are authorized to reside within 72 hours of your release from imprisonment. After initially reporting to the probation office, you will receive instructions from the court or the probation officer about how you will report to the probation office, and you must report to the probation officer as instructed. You must not knowingly leave the federal judicial district where you are authorized to reside without first getting permission from the court or the probation officer. So that means Diddy is not just going to be able to get up and travel like he thinks without getting permission from the probation department. You must answer truthfully questions asked by your probation officer. You must live in a place approved by the probation officer. If you plan to change where you live or anything about your living arrangement, such as the people that you are living with, you must notify the probation officer at least 10 days before the change. You must allow the probation officer to visit you at any time at your home or elsewhere.
Court documents reveal Diddy lost a $100 million lawsuit to Derek Lee Cardell Smith. Jaguar says Diddy's team is trying to hide this case from the public. It could hurt his chance of entering the early release program.
Mark Agnafilo. You want to know what's funny? While Mark Agnafilo was sitting there making fun of baby oil and doing all of the stuff that he was doing in court and creating all of that nice guy hoopla, trying to get everyone to believe that Diddy is not such a terrible person and now he's a wonderful man and he deserves to go back to Madison Square Garden and he's going to be right there to cheer him on. Do you want to know where else he was? In Wayne County, negotiating with Derek Lee Cordello Smith.
Wow.
His victim.
Wow.
Why would he be in negotiations with him if he actually believed that everything that he said in that courtroom was true?
Sounds like a fixer.
Sounds like a fixer. A liar.
Boy.
You think I give a shit about that sentencing? Let me regale you. Hold on. Wait a minute.
And as you're pulling it up,
Is it your testimony that you have your team of technicians at the crime lab who can and have manipulated evidence to place grapes not only on Derek Lee Cordello Smith, but other men as well, with the end result being they will plead because they have no choice. And they know you will get convictions because the SA victims in those cases are actually victims of Sean Combs and of the SCX slavery ring in Michigan. And guess what the witness's response was? So what? Yeah.
Jaguar also claims Diddy personally visited Derek in jail. Before the case, he allegedly tried to convince Derek to drop the lawsuit. Derek refused and ended up winning in court.
You want to know what's really funny though? You want to know what's super duper funny? It just disappeared. Do you know what I thought when I heard it myself? I said, oh, it must have not been real. Because there's no way in the world this isn't gonna make it to that trial. You wanna know what's even funnier? Diddy went to that jail to visit Derek his damn self in 2024.
oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Guess what name he was using to go to that jail to visit Derek so nobody would know it was him?
John Smith?
Brother Love.
Gosh.
What is clergy?
Damn. This is what this is very wild. What made you?
Guess where he went? Just a couple of days before HSI raided all of his properties. You mean, what do I think about the powers that be? What you want me to think?
But wait,
Now Diddy's team is reportedly seeking a presidential pardon just 3 days after sentencing. Trump confirmed they reached out to him. A pardon might be Diddy's last escape.
Just 3 days after Diddy was sentenced to over 4 years in prison on prostitution charges, President Donald Trump seems to confirm he's heard from the mogul's legal team. The comments coming Monday from the Oval Office as reporters asked about a pardon for Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, who's serving 20 years for child sex trafficking.
I wouldn't consider it or not consider it. I don't know anything about it, so but I will speak to the DOJ. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to speak to the DOJ. I'll look at it. I have a lot of people who have asked me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy has asked me for a pardon.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Trump and Diddy's ties go all the way back to the late 90s. Diddy was reportedly a guest at the president's 2005 wedding, and they ran in the same social circles.
One mogul after another. It's mogul time.
It's your boy Diddy.
ET's cameras caught them together at this New York charity event in 2008.
Even with all the evidence, Diddy walks away with just 4 years and a possible pardon. Jaguar and Gene say his power still protects him, but they're not backing down, and this story is far from over.